Hi everybody, it's Donna at the Quilt Store. Welcome to our Pincushion Club. Sorry you can't be here if you're getting the video. We missed you, but we'll be able to show you all the tips and tricks here that we have. So we have Katie and Kathy here, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on the demo. This is the kit for this month. So let me give you guys your kit. Oh, sorry. Yay. And this is the pincushion that we're gonna make.
So cute. That's pretty cute.
Very little cute. Pumpkin. This one has a little extra, but that's okay. This is actually what your pattern is for. Okay. So cool. It's a tad bit different, but this is what I came up with. It worked out perfect. So what we're gonna do with this block this month is here also I have directions for you.
Oh,
here's your directions. So this is actually we're gonna follow the book for putting the pincushion together, and that's on page 10 and 11 in the Pin Pals book. Hopefully you all have your book for doing this club, because most of the pincushions that we're making are out of this book. But this month they didn't have a pumpkin, and Christine had this great idea to make a pumpkin one, and so we used this little pineapple block to make a pumpkin. This is called a pineapple block. And you can see all of those really teeny tiny pieces in there. And that's why we're gonna paper piece it. Have you guys done any paper piecing before?
Once, a long time ago.
Okay, well we're gonna do a little demo here. I got the machine and all the parts and stuff to do it. So we will do it. So you can see on the back, I've left some of the papers on so you could kind of see how it.
Cool.
Okay, so if you look at your pattern, let me grab a paper. What you're going to want to do is make a copy of this, okay? Now, you can just use regular copy paper. Some people are like, no, don't use that. I have used it in a pinch. You just want to use like the cheapest paper, thinnest, lightest weight. If you have any newsprint, that's great. My favorite one is this Carol Dokes foundation paper. Okay, and if you can see, I'll show you, I printed mine. So I took mine and reprinted it onto the Carol Dokes. Cool. Yeah, it's basically newsprint. And it tears super easy if you want to see how that feels. So you want to make a copy of this paper. And then the next thing you want to do is cut all of your pieces. In your kit, you're going to get like 8 different 1.5 inch strips of oranges. Okay, so take those out, and this is actually what I have left over from my kit. We were very, very generous, so you'll be able to make. So if you mess up, don't worry, you have more. That's another reason you want to make a copy of your pattern, because if you mess up, you want to make another copy. You don't want to just have one copy. So that's another good reason. So you're going to take all of your orange strips and cut 2 2.5 inch pieces off of these strips. So that's on the cutting directions for the orange. And then your white strips, you've got 2 white strips in there. One of them is, this is what I have left over, but one of them is 2.25 inches wide. So you can see on your paper from your 2.25, you're gonna cut a 2.25 by a 2.25 inch square off of there. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually do that, because I'm going to show you where to put that. And I gotta find, oh, there's my cutter. Okay, just cut left-handed.
Kathy.
Okay. So, oh yeah, let me show, let me see. Oh, look. Oh, we have to take a little commercial break here. Katie got her maple leaf pincushion done from last month. And if you're new to joining our Pin Pals Club, we do have a couple of these kits left. This one's all just pieced. It's not paper pieced. And if you buy the kit, I'll send you the video that we did last month for putting it together. And this one is in the book. It's towards the back of the book. I think it's way in the back.
Page 91.
Yep, page 81. 88, I mean. Right? Maple Leaves, page 88. Okay, so this one's from the book. This is the one we did last month for September. Back, it's super cute. Good job. Good job, Katie. Oh, and in your kit, you also have a bag for the filling, the crushed walnut shells. Okay, so you're gonna cut this top part here. Tells you all your pieces that you need to cut first. You don't really need to cut, or no, did I say cut the green? No. that's going to be for this little piece. You can see this is in 2 parts. So the pumpkin, you're going to paper piece that section, and then you're going to paper piece this section separate. So you'll end up with 2 separate pieces. So after you make your copy, after you make your paper copy, I like to trim these down a little bit, leave a little bit, but you're going to actually separate those 2. Okay, so you'll have 2 different sections that you're going to be working with. Okay, so after you cut your, I'm going to go ahead and cut this sample one apart. And another little trick, this is not necessary and not everybody does it. Let's see, I'm going to set my machine down here, maybe, real quick, and show you on the cutting thing over here what I like to do. So I like to take my piece that I'm going to be working with first. And like I said, I like to trim it down just because then I don't have all that extra that I'm working around while I'm sewing it. Okay, so paper piecing, or really, this isn't really paper piecing, this is really foundation piecing. Paper piecing, English paper piecing, is different. So this is actually foundation because the paper is our foundation. Okay, so we're going to sew on the paper. So I have my first section, my pumpkin, I'm going to start with. And I'm going to take my 2 1/4 inch square and I'm going to put it on the back in the center. See where my square is in the center right here? I'm going to put this on the back and around that area. And usually one thing I really like to do, which I didn't bring any up here with me though, is put a little spot, just a tiny little bit of glue, like just use a glue stick, like a Elmer's glue stick, a school glue stick. So I just put a little tiny piece of glue, or just barely even touch it. But since I didn't bring any glue, let me grab some pins.
Can you use like that applique glue?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can use that. Any kind of glue. Glue stick, applique glue, anything you got around your sewing area.
Okay.
Okay, so you're just going to kind of center that in the back, okay? And let me see, where's my A2 goes that way. Since I don't have glue, I'm gonna just stick a pin in it. Okay, so one of the things that I like to do too, like I started to say, this isn't really necessary, but I like to go ahead and fold all of my lines before I start.
Wow. Okay.
And this is my favorite tool. It's a bookmark.
That works.
This is when I got to go to Sisters. This really is my favorite. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I don't know if you can see me working right here. Can you just hold that like that for a second, Kathy? Okay, so here's all my lines, and for this one, I just start in the corner, and I just press it, put the bookmark right on the line, and just give it a little crease, and just go down all these. And you know what's funny is that really the paper is gonna remember those creases even when we press it. So then I'll go to the other corner and just crease all of those. Okay, so that gives you the idea. I would go ahead and do all my creases all the way around before. Okay, thanks. Okay.
Put the material on the back side.
Yes. Paper or foundation piecing, I should quit saying paper piecing. Foundation piecing, it's always like upside down and backwards, it feels like. For sure, backwards. So yeah, you're going to put your fabric on the non-printed side. Okay. And sometimes if I can't tell where those lines are, if you hold it up to the light, see how you can see where the lines are for the square, Katie? When you hold it up, you can see. So you know that you've got fabric all the way around. It's really important as you're adding your other pieces that you're at least 1/4 inch past your line. Okay, so where am I? 1, 2. Okay, so the center square says A1, and we're going to sew A2, and you're going to just sew them all in order. So it goes A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and so you just follow the numbers, okay? So before I sew between A1 and A2, right here's the line that I'm gonna sew on. Okay, I'm gonna trim it first so here's my line. I'm gonna take my favorite tool and lay it right on the line and fold. This is why I like to glue it, because that pin's I got kind of a bump from that pin. Okay, then you're gonna take the add a quarter ruler. If you don't have an add a quarter ruler, you can use any ruler. You just want to cut that seam allowance. The add a quarter ruler is really nice because it has this groove where the quarter line is, and so you just lay that right up next to your seam. You can see that
On the paper part?
yeah, on
The fabric.
you're laying that groove right next to the line.
Oh, I see.
Okay, let me hold this up here. Okay, you see that?
Yep.
Okay, and then this part right here that's hanging over is what I'm going to trim off. So
And you cut that off before you sew.
I do cut it off before I sew because that pin is really in my way. I really hate the pin. Okay, I didn't make it very straight because of the pin. Let me do it this
Here,
way.
let me pull the pin out of the way.
Well, it's just no way
Don't
to
you
get it out
sell
of the
glue
way.
sticks?
I do. I have one in my office, but that's okay. Okay, so anyway, now I already have my seam allowance there, so I know right where to lay that next piece. So
Oh, you do it.
I already cut all these 2-inch squares.
So you do it right
Two-
side down, right side of the fabric down.
on your first one. That's a very good point. You want your pretty side showing when that first one that you put on. So you're putting the back of the fabric to the back of the paper. Okay? Back of the fabric to the back of the paper.
Right side up.
Okay. Yep, right side up. Or upside right, I like to say. Okay, what did I say to cut those? 2 1/4, or no, the orange. 2 1/2. So I'm cutting 2 1/2 inch strips of my orange. Okay.
Right side up. We
With the
just
right side up. Yep. So now I have a 1 1/2 by a 2 1/2 inch orange piece. And now I'm just gonna lay that right along that where I trimmed. And then I know I'm gonna get a 1/4 inch-ish. It doesn't really matter this doesn't matter if you're having precise 1/4 inch because we're stitching on the line. We're not gonna be stitching, we're not gonna be watching where our seam allowance is, okay? So let me get my machine back up here. Okay. Let me tip this down a little bit more again. Oh, let's see. No, it's in. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm already past that point. I don't need it, Cheryl. Okay, so now I have this, and this part, I'm going to take this pin out because I'm going to put a pin on this side. Okay, so I had to make sure that, yeah, getting it started is that once you get it started, you'll be fine. And really, putting a little dab of glue right there really helps get it started. But now you're going to turn it over to the paper side, and you're going to stitch on that line between A1 and A2. Okay, and when I paper piece, I'm not even threaded. I'm going to be invisible sewing here if I don't thread my machine. Sorry, guys. Make the video longer.
So now they're right sides together, right? Fabric is right sides.
Yes, right sides together on the fabric. Exactly. And one more. Oh, geez. Trying to thread it with the...
Yes. Right. Exactly. I think this one stands out to me as maybe.
I did this once.
Yeah.
Log cabin
It's,
thing.
yes. What
And
am I
it's been a
stuck
long
on?
time ago, so.
Sorry.
I did some kind of paper piecing on a heart quilt she helped me do for my granddaughter.
Yeah.
With really stupid stretchy material. That was a nightmare.
Oh.
I used stuff fabric that I'd made stuff for her, and she was a gymnast, so I'd made her a bunch of leotards.
Oh.
I really wanted to shoot myself. I'm sure she wanted to shoot me when she was quilting it.
No, it was fine. Okay.
I couldn't see that if I had to.
Chanel would scold you for all the fuzz on your machine.
I know. It's true. Don't tell her
can hear
because
her.
she's
Where's your
gonna,
brush? Where's your brush?
she's gonna be watching this video because she's in the.
She sent a.
Okay,
thing on
so
Facebook.
now I'm ready. I'm gonna stitch on that line between A1 and A2 on the paper side. You're always stitching, so you're stitching right on the line. And I always like to start a stitch or two ahead. And the other secret to paper piecing is you want your stitches to be pretty tiny. You don't want a big stitch. You want the tiny, when I have the numbers, I do it even at like 1.5. So I'm going to do this probably about 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so find my petal. All right, now, so then I'm just gonna stitch right on the line. Now you wanna make sure when you stop that you're, if you don't have an automatic needle up, that your needle is up. And I have some snips. Hang on, I think I can pause. See, look at that. Pause.
Okay, right over here. Okay. I don't know if this is the best location for it. I would think it'd be better over there with that other.
This was fun.
Cool.
And while you're on pause, I have to tell you, I glued this down.
Oh, good for you.
I didn't stitch it.
You didn't stitch it. Good for you. Okay.
That was crappy.
Hey, whatever works. I meant to bring my little snips, but I didn't. But these are what I have. I love these snips.
So don't you if I use my other machine that has electric,
The needle up and down.
no, if it cuts, you have to have the needle down. So don't use that one.
You can do it. You just would have to put the needle up to pull it out. You know.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm glad I put this on pause and having a malfunction here. Okay.
Those look pretty schmancy looking.
Off your head.